Hi, friends. I hope you're doing well. And guess what? You guys need to be at this next meeting. I believe it's in January, on January 18th. I will have information put down in the description below just so that I get all the numbers right. But, man, this video, man, they are reaching and searching and trying to find a way to not let us speak other than on agenda items. So it's a very, very good possibility that they're going to get rid of public comment. So it's very important for all of you, you Clearwater residents and anybody else that I know, all YouTubers, anybody that wants to come to this, please show up. If you're friends of this channel, if you are part of this channel or anyone's channel, please come out to this. I know John Felix, Eyes on the State, I'm going to try to get Rogue out there. I'm going to try to get a bunch of people. I'm even going to try to get Mr. Honor Your Oath out there. I'm going to try to get Mr. Madison out there. This is important. So, without further ado, let's get into this video because it's a little long, but you're going to see tyranny at its finest. So, let's get into it.
I'm sure, as everyone will recall, we are coming up on our 90 days from the last time the council took action relating to the order of business on the agenda. So to recap, it was almost 90 days ago.
No, it's been 6 months. First, it started with Unks with his decorum rules. And then you guys came in and you were like, oh, we can't take all this negativity and blah, blah, blah. We're going to suspend it for 3 months. And then you doubled down on it. And then now you're tripling down on it. It's not over. I mean, this is far from over.
That the council voted by supermajority at that time to alter the agenda to focus entirely on the agenda items. In other words, all that's on the agenda now is items that you're voting on, presentations, reports, etc., and it does not have a space or window of opportunity for the public, anyway, to introduce or speak on items that are unrelated to the business at hand. As a reminder, there is a statutory right in Florida for folks to comment on agenda items, and that has been preserved and must be preserved as required by Florida law. So now that we're coming up on the end of that 90-day period, the decision comes back to the council to decide what you'd like to do next. So your options really are as follows. Option number one, if the council is prepared to make a permanent decision, I'm going to put this in quotes, a permanent decision, then you could direct me to update the resolution, which would change council rules permanently. And again, I'm putting that in quotes because nothing in life is forever. We're just talking about resolutions. Resolutions can be changed at a moment's notice, well, not a moment's notice, but at one meeting's notice, I'll say. Not a moment's notice. One meeting's notice, we can change resolutions. But when I say permanent,
like that permanent zipper on your head, yeah, you need to change a friggin' your hairstylist or whoever's doing your hair. You need to change that fast.
And what I mean is that we would officially change the council rules to reflect the new rubric, meaning that we would officially delete that portion of the agenda that relates to members of the public commenting on items that are unrelated to the business at hand. Of course, council members always have the ability during council member discussion to bring up any item of your choosing because it is your meeting and you're here for your own meeting. So that's option number one, is I can change council rules. That can pass with a simple majority, by the way. But it would need to come back at the next council meeting, meaning that if that's the direction council gives me, we will bring that back at the next council work session, which I guess would be January 15th, if I'm not mistaken. Right, be January 15th, and then it will be voted upon January 18th, which would be the next council meeting. So that's one option.
So, on January 18th, it's at 6 p.m. You and everybody and your friends and cousins and other YouTubers need to be there. So January 18th, 6 p.m. That is going to be the council meeting where we all need to stand up and let our voices be heard.
Option number two is to allow the current rubric to simply expire. If you allow the temporary suspension of that portion of the meeting to expire, then it will default starting in January back to the existing rules, meaning that that portion of the meeting will return. The clerk will put it back on the agenda as it had been previously, and that will come back, pending further action by the council. And then the third option would be a continuation of temporary action. Just like you did previously, council has the ability to simply make a motion, not today, but Thursday, would have the ability to make a motion on this Thursday to temporarily extend the pause for whatever duration you deem fit, whether that's another 90 days, whether it's 6 months, or whatever time period you see fit. Temporary measures like that do require supermajority to pass because they're considered temporary deviations from the rules. So those are kind of the menu of options, but happy to answer any questions, and of course we'll take direction from the council.
Vice Mayor?
You want me to start it off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, I don't know about the rest of you, but I haven't had anybody living in the city of Clearwater that has called me and said that they wish that we would have items not on the agenda back, public speaking. I think everybody that I've talked to thinks the council meetings have gone back to a normal type council meeting, and they're pretty happy with that. And the couple of people that we've had that came up that were discussing items, problematic items, we talk to them after the meeting, or they can get us on email, or they can call us, and that seems to have helped. So I would say, and we could change it at any time, but almost I would be leaning toward just a permanent decision to leave it.
Okay, Councilmember Teixeira?
You speak
I mean,
about
to take it off.
to take it off. You speak about no one actually talking to you about it. I've had several people who really want it back, but those are the same people that have my personal number and that I go out and have lunch with, who have access to me. So, like you said, I am not hearing from the majority of people that they necessarily want it. I also have heard comments that say that they feel safer, they feel like it's more controlled. It is a business meeting.
It's such a weird phenomenon that they keep calling this a business meeting. Okay, in a business, your goal is to do what? Make money. But yet, the houses or the parking spots that you lose tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on, the boats that don't run, that don't make money. I mean, do you want me to continue? Oh, there's even right there, your amphitheater doesn't make money. What part of Clearwater is a business for you?
So what I do want to maybe discuss for future consideration is, for those who really feel that they want that open forum, then let's have quarterly town hall meetings. That would be somewhere that we can listen. But to have just random conversations during a business meeting, that I'm opposed to. So I'm leaning towards permanently, removing it.
You don't have to comment.
I do have something to say, but I'll probably be the dissenting, so if you'd
Yeah,
like to
no,
go.
I'll go
Mike,
ahead because I know
you're
you'll
more
be on
than
the
welcome.
other side of the coin, so, and I appreciate the opportunity. I'm with you on this. We said at the very beginning, this wasn't an easy decision.
to get where these people start filtering away and leaving and not getting what they want.
Yeah, Rule 15 was passed, and it's a First Amendment right. And I'll stand up for anybody's
Right,
First Amendment right,
exactly,
and
sure.
we'll gladly give them their 3 minutes and listen. Unfortunately, some of the situations you're discussing are people that live over 4 hours away.
Yes.
Don't even live
On
in
the
our
East Coast.
community,
Yeah.
and they're coming in just to put a live stream camera in front of them to get clicks on YouTube or
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be a line between civility and being an obstructionist, right?
Right.
And when you're just there to be an if you don't live in our city, you don't own a business, you're not part of, the Kiwanis Club, the Rotary Club, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And maybe we need to find some of those individuals' hobbies. Maybe they can paint storm drains or something
Yeah.
for us and
Yeah.
put them to work.
For us to make, because we do very seriously value citizen input and how our citizens feel in our community, and that we all take that to heart, and that decision weighed on all of us. But I think with that decision, we also said that there is a downside to it, and the downside was that we needed to work harder as a council and harder as a staff to make sure that our words met those actions. And I commend all of you and all of staff on being completely attentive to the needs of the community, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone call, whether it's grabbing lunch or coffee, whether it's being, pulled aside at Christmas meeting to be shown pictures of something that's wrong on their street, and we all have been completely receptive and open to that, and have worked very hard to hear those voices, so I commend you all on that. I'm supportive of it as well. I have heard very few complaints, and the couple that have are the couple that we hear from quite often anyway. So I'm with you. Option one, I'm supportive of.
So I'll agree. I don't believe that we're infringing on anybody's constitutional rights. We go about our business with the agenda items, and they're able to speak to those. I will say that I still believe in the ability for citizens or business owners here in Clearwater to be able to stand before us, the directors that are in the room, our higher city staff and their elected officials, for their 3 to 10 minutes and say their piece. I have no issue with that and just trying to get through some of the others that may come from wherever to bring forward whatever. That's just part of it, in my opinion, and we roll with the punches and make our way through it. So, I am going to be opposed again to this. I think that public comment is an important thing to have. It allows them to come before all of us. I don't disagree. You have email, you have phone numbers, and all of us up here have been attentive to those. I do agree with that. I do agree with the town hall thing. I think that all of us would participate in that if our schedules are open and we had one, set forward, because we really do. And I think each of you do care about your citizens and businesses that are here. But I will still probably be the dissenting vote on that, just because of what I've explained.
Well, let me ask you this. What if we did that, but we just did it separately from this meeting, the same night, but without all the staff here? The whole point of it is for whoever's at the podium to talk to us. And one of our challenges has been they use the opportunity to direct, talk about everybody else except us.
Yeah.
So the last mayor's conference I went to, I polled him, we talked about, the challenge is across the country. I mean, the world has changed since the 1970s when you had this on your agenda. They didn't have any other way to communicate other than come to a meeting. And now that's all recorded and televised, and people have tended at our meetings to make it more about them and their personal persona or whatever, rather than it is just about addressing community concerns. So some of these other communities, one in Virginia, the mayor told me they have a separate meeting at 5 o'clock before 6 o'clock in a separate room. It's not recorded, it's not televised. The entire council, city manager, city attorney is there. You come up, you get your 3 minutes, you do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say, an item's not on the agenda, and then they stop whatever time the council meeting stops if they have enough people. If not, they just end it, and then they come in for the council meeting. But there's a separate place, time and place for that presentation. And it's part of, and they don't do it every meeting, they do it once a month. But it does give folks that opportunity to still do what we're doing as part of the meeting. It just separates it so that whatever other things they want to do is not disrupting the meeting and letting other citizens with agenda items come in and discouraging them from wanting to attend to speak on agenda items. So if we did something like that,
No, again, I think that meets the challenge, right? Because then you still have all of the prevalent city staff that's available, plus the elected officials. I think that you'd be coming up with a nice solution for that.
so
If that's how
essentially
we'd
it's a
like to
town
go
hall
about it.
forum. It's
For sure.
But it's just the same date and earlier time. And I think that would probably reduce our staff's, time
Absolutely.
and having to sit through all that. They wouldn't need to be there. It's just their opportunity to address us as bodies.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a good solution.
So I would be, I've not gotten anybody other than the folks who, have complained and do YouTube videos.
No matter what you guys do, I can make YouTube videos from 4 hours away. I cover everywhere and anywhere across the United States. Just because I'm not there doesn't mean I can't make a video exposing your tyrannical ways. So regardless, like if you want to come out and apologize to me and say, you know something, I can walk away from, give the people back public comment. This is another olive branch. Give the public comment back to the people, and I'll stop coming to these meetings. There it is. Take it how you will, but we know where you're probably going to go. So we'll find out on January 18th at 6 p.m. I hope to see a lot of you there.
Complaining about us not having it on the agenda. Other than that group, I've just not gotten anybody to me from Clearwater, except for maybe one or two that are really interested in having this back on the meeting agenda. But I think if we just permanently took it off of our meeting agenda, but committed to looking at doing something like I just discussed, a separate town hall thing once a month where you have a chance to come in and talk about whatever. I think that's a good alternative.
That's a good alternative, because I think it would defeat the people that are here, not for business, just for antics. You know, not to be there. But I'm fine with that.
I will agree and say that I've only received the same negative emails by, I think, the same people that we know here. It's only a select handful. Other than that, I haven't seen anybody, you know, saying that we need to keep it off or bring it back that's been a resident or business owner. So I will.
So, all right, so how would we advertise? We'd advertise this on a separate agenda for once a month?
This was something the clerk and I were just kind of talking about. So, I mean, I would kind of view this in two parts. So, number one would be that portion of the current council rules that includes this agenda item. Remember, it's still in there because it's only been temporarily suspended. So I think the first thing I need to do, if there's consensus among council, is to go back, change the resolution, which I'll bring forward in January, to say, okay, this is the permanent change to council rules, striking that portion for the meeting. That's kind of step number one. Step number two, which could either be done simultaneous with it, or you could let the dust settle on it and then come back to it later, whichever you prefer, would be this separate meeting and how that's going to play out. It's really up to the council to decide how, when, and where that would take place. The only dilemma, I mean, there's two issues. Number one is kind of the legal side of this, and number two is a little bit of the practical side. So the legal issue is for sunshine law purposes. I do believe that if this is going to be something that the council as a body is doing, then we will need to make sure we advertise that and have minutes for sunshine purposes. So that's going to be number one. That's going to be true regardless of where, when, and how. But if that's the conclusion of the body, then the clerk's office, we'll have to manage that. So that's kind of the legal side of it. The practical side of it is that if it is done here and immediately before the council meeting, you may have to think about either your number one, what does that mean for dinner options, as we know, but then number two, also what does that mean from a staff perspective? If, and I don't want to speak for the manager, but if she has staff staying here at night, then essentially that's going to prolong, like staff has to stay here because now they have to sit through the beginning portion of this to get through to their portion of it. Whereas if this was done at the end, then staff potentially may be able to depart, not the manager or myself, but other staff may be able to.
But staff wouldn't attend, other than the clerk would have somebody record minutes. But other than that, there would be no staff.
Gotcha.
Which would eliminate the temptation, hopefully, for folks to try and engage the staff.
And the TV aspect of it, I think.
Yeah. Does it have to be televised?
And it doesn't have to
The
be in this
forum?
room, it could be in a separate room.
Yeah, that's perfect.
As long as you take notes.
We were discussing that earlier too. So the forum would not have to be required to, we're not required by statute to televise it, so it could just be held in here. So
basically, in a nutshell, is that they want to try to do something where the staff, police department or whoever we have an issue with, whatever gripes we have, whether it's the police, Parks and Rec, whoever, they want those people not to be part of being ridiculed for the things that they do. And I'm basically gonna pretty much say this is more for the police department. But whatever. And then they, you see what they're doing. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with what they're trying to do, because it's not going to deter us. We are still going to make videos. We are still going to come. So that's just going to be part of it. The quicker you give us our public comment back, the quicker I don't keep coming. So, and something? You can do whatever you want, obviously.
Or whatever room
It's a good
council
solution.
chooses.
I don't think it's a bad solution, I just think what the problem is that they come in with their own cameras and record the entire thing anyways, and create their own video and antics, regardless of whether our cameras are on. And if that's what we're trying to avoid, that circus by permanently deleting it, we're just kind of changing the venue and time of it, but issuing another platform for that to happen if that's what we're trying to avoid. That would be my only concern with going that. But I do see where you're coming from, and I do see where that would make sense. I do like the fact that staff doesn't have to be a part of it, doesn't have to be attacked and waste their time listening to it. And we do check the box of letting citizens give input on that forum. It's,
And you eliminate the audience
yeah.
that's here for agenda items. So they're performing, I guess, for their own video or whatever, which is fine. Gives them a separate place.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just threw that
Yeah.
as a general idea of an alternative to kind of, Councilmember.Cotton makes a good point. We need to give folks the opportunity, and then we could say that we're still giving you the opportunity to do what you've done, just as a separate meeting, because it just has really slowed down the efficiency of our meetings. It's been really cost taxpayers money, really, frankly, the way these things drag out when we're putting that on the council agenda, so. Okay, any other further? That make it muddier, or-
So just make sure I'm hearing
I think the consensus is,
Minus one.
four of us is to take it off completely.
All right, so I could do that. So if this is the consensus, I will bring that back in January at the January work session. And then it'll also give council continued time to think about, what other direction you'd like to give. We can even revisit the topic Thursday night, so.
That was going to be my question. Does council want to revisit this topic Thursday night to discuss further details?
Were you saying you have to draft something and propose it for?
To change the rules?
Correct. A change of rules will have to come back at the next work session. However, if there's any further discussion the council would like to have on the topic of what you'd like to do to replace, that portion of the meeting, we could continue that this Thursday night if there's council direction to do that. Or if the council already knows what you'd like to do, I could build that into the rule we draft. So in other words, we could just do it once, but I would need to know exactly what that direction is, if council's prepared to say that right now. And if you're not, that's okay too. I could just do this portion and then we could come back.
If we don't do something Thursday night, then we would have it back on the agenda for the first meeting in January, right?
Correct, that is correct.
And I don't think at least four of us don't want that. I don't know how you feel about keeping it off until we can talk about it further.
Mayor, can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah.
The question about keeping it up until, or continuing with the thought process of how we want to go about it? Is that what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, the question is, if we don't do something on Thursday night, then
Yeah.
it'll be on for the first meeting in January.
For sure, like I said, it's a great solution to be able to still hear residents and business owners in the community of what they want to bring to us. So if that's where we want to go with it, that is a.
But items not on the agenda would be on for the first meeting in January if we don't do something Thursday
Oh, no,
night.
I still think it
to
has to
postpone.
come up Thursday, for sure. Yeah.
We vote
I
on
thought
it.
you were talking about your potential solution
No.
for going forward. Okay.
So the vote comes up on Thursday, and then if we want, we continue the conversation of whether it's the once a month kind of thing, what kind of format we're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. So on Thursday, what'll come back before the council will be, number one, the immediate issue of whether the council would like to extend the pause for another 30 days, which gives us time to bring back the permanent change. And then number two, if any council members have additional thoughts regarding what you'd like to come next, or why you'd like to replace this, then you don't have to, but you could bring it up Thursday night. So it's just another opportunity, because obviously you guys don't get to get there very often as a group or get to talk very often outside the sunshine. So it's just a forum or an opportunity for you guys to continue discussing it, that's all.
Okay. All right. With that, we will adjourn the December 16, 2024 work session of Clearwater City Council.
Once again, January 18th, 6 p.m. Links will be in the description. I will be there. I'm trying to get as many as you out there, because even if you don't want to speak, you can give us your minutes to speak on this agenda item, because it's not public comment, it's an agenda item. You can give up your time. So I hope to see 100 of you there at this meeting and ready to speak about our free speech. So don't forget, hit that like, share, and that subscribe button, all that good stuff. And trust me, this is going to be fireworks. I'm out of here. Soliaker, deuces.